Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are opening up one of the most famous and I think most tragic literary bargains ever struck. Christopher Marlowe's Dr. Faustus.
And our mission today is to really go beyond just a plot summary. We're going to dig into the terrifying core of this story, the moment the ultimate bad deal gets signed,
Right.
and use it to explore this incredible tension in the late 16th century, this clash between soaring Renaissance ambition and, well, a much more conservative medieval morality.
Before we even get to Faustus himself, we have to talk about Marlowe. I mean, he was writing right alongside Shakespeare, but his life had a drama that Shakespeare's, well, just never matched.
Oh, absolutely.
He was a shoemaker's son who somehow gets a scholarship to Cambridge, but he's trailed by all these rumors that he's a spy, an atheist, a blasphemer, and then he dies mysteriously at 29.
His life was as combustible as his plays, really. But his true legacy, I think, is how he changed drama forever. He perfected the use of blank verse.
That unrhymed iambic pentameter.
Yes. And critics called it the mighty line, and for a very good reason.
The mighty line, it gave his characters this soaring, articulate power.
Exactly. It just elevated English drama from these sort of rhyming couplets to something truly grand. It lent this tremendous sense of gravitas and scale, especially to a character like Faustus, who was just defined by his monumental hubris.
Yeah.
Faustus is really the pinnacle of this theme for Marlowe. A protagonist who dares to defy human limits, maybe even challenge God.
So that brings us to the man himself, Dr. Faustus. The sources paint this picture of a brilliant scholar from Wittenberg who's just conquered everything: divinity, medicine, law.
He's the best at everything.
He excelled at all of it, but his immense learning didn't bring contentment. It bred this radical pride. He basically hit the ceiling of human knowledge and just found it wasn't enough.
His greatest strength? His knowledge became his biggest flaw. Instead of humility, it gave him disillusionment. And this intellectual boredom, that's what drives his disastrous turn toward the dark arts.
To necromancy.
To necromancy, yeah, with the help of his friends Valdez and Cornelius, which leads to him summoning the demon Mephistopheles.
And this is where the analysis gets so crucial. When Mephistopheles first appears, he is terrifying, but he gives Faustus a genuinely profound, almost existential warning.
He does.
It's not the cartoonish description of pitchforks and fire you might expect. He tells Faustus that hell isn't a physical place, it's a perpetual state of being separated from God.
And what's so fascinating here is the moral ambiguity. Mephistopheles himself is tormented. He says, "Why, this is hell, nor am I out of it." He's giving Faustus the honest, brutal truth.
A truth which Faustus, blinded by his ambition, just completely ignores.
Completely.
It raises a question. If the devil is being this honest about his own eternal misery, is Faustus ignoring a real warning? Or is this just some sophisticated tactic to make the deal seem less severe?
It's hard to say. But either way, Faustus dictates the terms. He'll sell his soul to Lucifer for 24 years of service from Mephistopheles.
In exchange for unlimited knowledge and power?
Exactly. And that takes us right into Act 2, where the contract is drawn up. Even as he gets ready to sign, the play just perfectly externalizes his internal conflict. You get the good angel urging him to repent.
And the evil angel egging him on, encouraging that ambition. It's this spiritual war zone playing out right before he does the deed.
It really is. Then comes the signing ceremony itself. Faustus uses his own blood, which dramatically binds him to the pact, and the sources all highlight that final desperate warning that just appears on his arm.
Homo fuge.
Man, fly. It is the ultimate moment of free will. The universe gives him one last unambiguous chance, written right there on his own skin.
And what does he do?
He dismisses it immediately. He actively chooses to ignore grace and seals his own fate.
And the anticlimax is almost immediate. He starts asking Mephistopheles all these questions, simple things about astronomy, about cosmology, and he just gets these totally evasive, unsatisfying answers.
He just traded his soul for unlimited knowledge, and the very first knowledge he gets is disappointingly hollow. It instantly proves the limitations of the deal.
So he sold his soul for access to secrets, but those secrets are being delivered by, what, a liar and a subordinate demon, not by God.
Precisely.
This moves us into, I think, the central critique of the play, and it's the part that takes up most of his 24 years. Acts 3 and 4. We're expecting godlike power, changing history, discovering the secrets of the cosmos.
And
Instead, Faustus just squanders his gift.
And this triviality is so essential to Marlowe's point. Faustus gets the keys to the universe, and he uses them for parlor tricks. He and Mephistopheles travel, but their first big stop is the Pope's court in Rome.
Right. And he uses his invisibility to play pranks.
Just pranks. Stealing dishes of food, making the Pope's wine disappear, and, comically boxing the Pope's ears.
If you're one of the most brilliant minds of your age and you can command demons, why are you spending your time being a petty nuisance to the Pope?
Marlowe is asking exactly that. Sure, he does perform some grand feats, like conjuring Alexander the Great for the German Emperor Charles V, but then he immediately descends back into these crude, cruel tricks.
Like with the horse courser?
Yeah, tormenting that gullible horse courser. He sells him a magic horse, but warns him not to ride it into water. And of course, the second he does,
The horse turns into a pile of hay.
a truss of hay.
Yeah.
And the sources are clear. This isn't just filler. It's a profound statement. Absolute power doesn't make Faustus great. It just reveals how small and shallow his true nature really is.
His huge ambitions for global control just shrink down to petty revenge and frivolous entertainment. The mind that wanted to know the cosmos is now happy with childish jokes.
It's the ultimate failure of the Renaissance man. He had the curiosity, he had the intellect, but he completely lacked the moral character to apply that knowledge in any meaningful way.
He wanted the power of a god, but he only had the temperament of a bored, spiteful child.
That's a perfect way to put it.
Which brings us all too quickly to Act 5 as the clock finally runs out, and we get one last heartbreaking chance for salvation.
Yes, the old man. He appears and makes this powerful, desperate plea. He insists that God's mercy is still available, even right up to the very last second.
And Faustus is moved by this, isn't he?
He is genuinely moved. But instead of choosing repentance, he's paralyzed. He chooses despair.
And that distinction is so critical. His first sin was pride wanting to be a god, but his ultimate sin, the thing that actually seals his fate, is despair.
Exactly. It's the belief that his sin is too great for God to ever forgive.
That's what damns him.
Precisely. And that despair makes him seek one last temporary comfort. He asks Mephistopheles to conjure the spirit of Helen of Troy. He kisses her and says those immortal lines.
Was this the face that launched 1,000 ships and burnt the topless towers of Ilium?
That is the definitive rejection of grace. He chooses this perfect symbol of fleeting, human, sensual pleasure, Helen over eternal salvation. It's an act of profound idolatry that just finalizes his damnation.
And then we get that final, terrifying moment, Faustus's last soliloquy as midnight approaches. He's gripped by just sheer agony and regret.
Begging time to stand still, offering to burn his books in this desperate last-minute attempt to undo everything.
But time can't stand still. The clock strikes 12, and the devils arrive to carry his soul away. A horrific, definitive end.
So when we connect all these threads, you see the central conflict so clearly. It's the conflict of eras. The play is a terrifying commentary on the cost of this new, human-centered worldview.
Right, the Renaissance worldview.
Renaissance humanism celebrated man's potential, his ability to achieve anything. But Marlowe is warning that if that ambition isn't bounded by the divine order of medieval morality, it just leads to self-destruction. Faustus is the terrifying result of an unchecked ego.
And like we said, his damnation wasn't just because he signed a piece of paper. It was his free choice over and over again to prioritize temporary power over the eternal, and that crucial refusal to believe in redemption.
This also sheds more light on Mephistopheles, too. He's not some simple villain. He's sophisticated, he's melancholic, and he's constantly reminding Faustus of the spiritual price of their bargain.
He's a living, constant reminder of what they've both lost.
Yes, which makes him a much more compelling and tragic figure than just a simple tempter.
And we should probably give some credit to the dramatic structure, the low comedy scenes with characters like Wagner and Robin.
Oh, they are vital. They're not just comic relief. They provide this vulgar, farcical parody of Faustus's own high ambitions. It really highlights the absurdity of how this great scholar used his power.
So when you see the mundane pranks of the common folk, it makes Faustus's tragic, wasted potential and his eventual terrifying fall feel that much more intense.
It really does.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Dr. Faustus isn't just some cautionary tale about making a deal with the devil. It's a profound exploration of the failure to apply knowledge morally.
Faustus was defined by his brilliance, but he was undone by his lack of character.
And let's hold on to that definition of hell Mephistopheles gave us right at the start.
Yeah. Hell is the torment of the mind and soul, defined by eternal separation and absolute despair. Faustus gained knowledge, he gained pranks, temporary power, but he lost his soul. And the tragedy is, he was painfully aware of that loss long before the devils ever showed up.
Marlowe holds up this dark mirror to an age of exploration and new knowledge. And his final lesson, delivered by the chorus, warns us to heed Faustus's hellish fall and not to seek unlawful things.
Which leaves us with a pretty big question.
Right. We're living in an age that is obsessed with shortcuts, with absolute data, with unlimited knowledge. So what does that final warning about the real cost of ambition and the true meaning of despair, what does that mean for us today? That's what we'll leave you to ponder.